Well, we like to bring you really powerful stories here on Fearless Faith of people and what God's doing in their lives and different ministries. This is Priscilla Pruitt, co-host of God's View.
That's correct.
And we'll give you more information about that. You have an amazing story. You are Cuban, right?
Yes.
100%?
100%.
And your father was born in Cuba, but he had to escape. Tell us a little bit about that story.
Yes. So many years ago, before I was born, my father had tried to escape 2 times, and in both times he was actually caught. And so what happens in Cuba, when you try to escape, you go to jail. But if you escape a 3rd time, because it's like a slap in the wrist, and they'll put you in jail for 12 months, 18 months, and then they'll execute you if you keep trying. So,
my goodness. But
yeah,
he escaped on an inner tube with 3 other gentlemen?
Yes.
And somehow during a hurricane this occurred? Tell me about that.
So what they did is they tied 3 inner tubes together, and they made this little, I guess like a sail out of sheets and plastic. And so they tied it all up, and they had another raft that they had made for this event, but when this hurricane started coming, the weather was there, they saw an opportunity and they said, no, this is too big. The waves are too big. This is going to be dangerous. Let's do something smaller. They quickly put this together and they left. And so what they did is they made this 30-second raft. Last minute, they put some food in a bag, tied it all up. They saw an opportunity and they went for it, blind faith.
But they were spending hours and they had to sit up and to escape, and they finally made it somewhere?
Yes, they actually planned for months, and everything that they had planned, they didn't end up doing.
Okay.
They were like, you know what, that's not going to work. They literally saw this opportunity with this hurricane, with this weather, and they said, you know what, this is when we have to do it.
How long were they on the rafts?
4 days.
4 days. And your father was a medium?
My father was a medium. See, in Cuba, there's a lot of witchcraft, and there's no like Christianity or Catholicism. It's just Santeria. And so he literally was a medium, and he was very involved into that stuff. And what happens while they were out there for 4 days, the raft had flipped over and over, and they had lost all their food and all their water. And it was literally 3 inner tubes, 4 grown men.
Encircled by sharks.
Encircled by
sharks.
sharks.
But they looked to your dad as the spiritual leader, right?
Yes. And imagine this, they couldn't even lay down to sleep for 4 nights.
Wow.
So they were sitting up to try to sleep every time, and if they fell back, a shark would have gotten them. So after 4 nights of no sleep, after the scorching sun during the day, and at freezing temperatures at night, it gets so cold at night, they were ready to die.
Okay.
And so the guys looked at my dad and they said, Raphael, you're the spiritual one. Pray for us because we're going to die.
And what did he do?
And see, my dad at that moment, God brought to his memory how he used to look at all of these little saints. His grandmother was apparently Catholic. She had all these saints on the mantle. And his eyes were always drawn to the cross where Jesus was. And she would ask him, which one's your favorite, Raphael? And he would always point to Jesus and say, that one. And at that moment, God brought that to his memory.
Wow.
And he prayed to Jesus for the first time in his life.
And then he found Jesus later on?
He sure
after
did.
that?
So 30 minutes later, not only were they saved, but afterwards he found Jesus. Now he's a pastor.
He's a pastor today.
He's
fighting
today.
cancer now.
He is. He's fighting cancer right now.
I'll bet his faith is pulling him
Oh,
through.
yes. My dad is the most faithful man you'll ever meet. Every day he spends hours in the Word and just praying to God, and he knows he's healed. He says, if I'm not healed here, I'll be healed in heaven.
But the amazing thing is, God has had his hand on your dad's life, and it passed through to you, and obviously generations. But your dad almost wasn't here.
This is true.
Because tell us how he came into the world. What happened?
Well, my dad is actually a product of a failed late-term abortion. So what happened is in
Oh my
Cuba, if they don't want a baby, they use a hanger, a wire hanger, and they try to induce an abortion themselves. And so his mother tried to do that, and he was actually raised by his uncle. And so what the devil meant, he survived. What the devil meant for bad, something to devastate his life, to kill him, to kill, steal, and destroy, God turned around for good.
And Priscilla, what's your dad's name?
Raphael, which means God has healed.
God is healed. God had a plan for Raphael's life. The devil tried to wipe his life out before it began, but God performed miracle after miracle. I hope this story inspires your faith. Thank you for sharing it with us. God bless you. And we'll see you soon for another morning cup of inspiration. But remember, God has a plan for you.